take. It's extremely likely that Neeze and Godly will be in the grand finals, and you know there's not necessarily a guarantee that it'll be against Acno and Blaze.
Well, we'll just have to see how it happens. Everybody, welcome to Game 1 of Winners Finals. Let's see what we got. By the way, always a lot of respect to the Deviljin crossover skin because, man, that is hands down my favorite crossover in this game thus far. It is beautiful. It
looks really good, and it's also because Mounir is making it look really good as well. So he's adding that little icing, more than just the icing on the cake. He's adding some little decorations and making sure not only looks pretty, but also plays pretty as well.
We say a little bit of fondant, not just icing. But that being said, that's going to be a couple of stocks already off super quickly. 30 seconds into the game, Koko is going to be the only one left on one stock at the moment. Koko picking up that lance, gets that neutral as well. Now with the axe on hand, going in on Neeze a little bit. Neeze holding onto the ground here, taking a couple of big hits, not able to find that neutral, into the GC neutral.
And it's wild that Koko's axe is as devastating as it has been so far in this game, and the fact that they got the full team wipe, because it started off with a blue team combo. And it looked amazing. It seemed like they were going to start this one off really strong, and they're continuing it pretty strong because Mounir's taking a lot of damage.
They're so ready for those 2v1 combos. Again, nothing huge, nothing that's like lasting 20 seconds, but it is a lot of damage. And look at how much damage Mounir has taken. That's the side, off the side. Already down to his last stock. This game is going fast.
Oh, that's the stock there in the orange from a sword player. That is so rare, and Neeze just grabbed it out of thin air, literally after Godly sent them over there. Just great gameplay coming out from Neeze and Godly today. They're really firing on all cylinders now. Godly is on his final stock. Neeze might be there soon, but they still have the lead. The edge guard set up from Mounir, the GC sidelight, and that's going to be that stock. We are all even about 1 minute and 50 into this game.
They're all in. This game, everybody is holding forward. Everybody is playing as aggressively as possible. Godly backing off a little bit. Able to get that follow-up from Neeze. They have them stacked. That's a delicious, dare I say, amount of damage dealt to Red Team. And they're continuing to take that, try to get something going with that neutral. Didn't get anything too huge, though.
The follow-ups on Neeze were so good, but then I saw Neeze come out with that recovery, like, out of hit stun, and I was getting, like, shades of what Neeze did previously when he was hit and sent out of hit stun, all of a sudden finding a KO. Oh, Edgeguard is not going to find any purchase there. Everybody gets back onto the main platform.
Godly looking for a way to catch Mounir, landing back onto the stage here. Not going to be able to connect the recovery. Mounir just finds a neutral for all of his troubles. And now all the way up top, how do you safely land? Neeze continuing to pressure, but Koko forcing him to disengage and go onto a different target for the moment. That's going to be Koko off the top. Mounir at the side of the stage. How do you make it back on? This is a nasty, uncomfortable, unpleasant position to be in. The neutral is going to be able to seal it off as Blue Team takes that game one. That was a fast game. That was an aggressive game. And Blue Team's combos again, just on point.
And even though Mounir only did 369 damage, again, that's like in air quotes only, because look how close it was. You'll see at the top right of your screen on this final stock it's taken. Neeze and Godly are both in the orange. Yes, they are not standing on Knockout's doorstep, but they are very close to it. You know, maybe they just pulled in and they're sending a text message to someone saying, "I'm here, where are you?" So they're close. Koko and Mounir are hanging with Neeze and Godly, and that's kind of the story of EU right now. It's like Acno and Blaze top EU team, Godly and Neeze.
Like a little awkward at the party, at the function, right? So they're trying to warm up a little bit. They'll have to figure out how to have a conversation with these guys.
They're the little guy in the corner that's like, they don't know I went game 5 against Neeze and Godly.
You look like Brawlhalla players go to parties. That's a big assumption. That being said, game number 2, let's see what Red Team has in store for us today. At the moment, Koko setting up really nicely with the lance here. Oh, that's already going to be Godly's first stop.
That's early, and they got Neeze as well. That was a cleanup in less than 30 seconds. And that's huge because in previous sets, like, Godly and Neeze were kind of taking turns on who wants to be the stock tank. All of a sudden, that's changed. They still do have 2 more stocks to play with, but Godly getting closer and closer to that orange. We are having disconnect issues right now. I don't think that is the client. Oh, it was the client. I was expecting Koko to maybe be the only one that wasn't disconnected in the game just because he was standing still, but we are back to the live game, and we see Koko and Mounir in the lead, Neeze and Godly in the orange.
Neeze going to be looking for that ground pound off stage. Not going to be so lucky this time around, though. Okay, Godly going to try to find a spike of his own. Mounir just ends up getting back nice and safely. Godly almost ended up SDing from that interaction. Luckily, you know, semi-unscathed, or at least as little damage as he could have possibly taken. Mounir finally losing that first stock, but already look at Blue Team. Look at how much damage they have.
Koko is using his lance to get away. Godly just fell. Like, he just straight up fell trying to chase Koko. That is the absolute worst case scenario. The best case scenario is you grab Koko, do the damage, and knock him out. The middle case scenario is he just runs away, chases Sharks while his teammate comes back in and you don't really get much. Worst case is Godly just fell onto his final stock. Neeze not long behind him, and we have a big lead for the red team.
But Mounir has to be careful with those kinds of slide-off sigs. Godly found a good punish, but it wasn't a conclusive one. Neeze getting beat up a little bit. Left up.
He just got binked 3 different times. Mounir, though, put onto his final stock. We'll see if they can clean up Koko here. Nice down air from Neeze, but Mounir comes in.
Oh,
there
still
is
able
room.
to touch the wall. You
Got
have
the
enough
touch.
resources. You have to go back onto the stage. You cannot finish that off. If I'm Neeze, I was sweating the entire time. Now I made it back on, and I'm like, okay, fine. This is doable. This is good, especially if they can continue to focus on Mounir like this.
Or as Loki would say, I don't know if you're sweating or if you're crying. Taz loved that lore reference. He threw his hands up. He loved that one. He's a big fan of that. Oh, Godly and Neeze. Who knows? They may be crying after this one because this could be a tie-up of the set as Godly is taken out. The extended string coming out. Huge work from Mounir to clean that one up, and they're rolling right into the next game. No hesitations.
Okay, that was not the game 2 that I was necessarily expecting, but it was the one that you were kind of setting up for the moment. Right? They are able to hang with Neeze and Godly, of course. They really showed off just like a lot of sophistication in like the neutral, right? They were going toe-to-toe. They were like, you know, falling into any massive setups this time around, whereas opposed to game 1, I feel like Godly and Neeze had a bit of an easier time lobbing them into each other, be it with like Gauntlet neutral or like with Axe neutral. That didn't necessarily happen as much game 2.
And we have some interesting numbers, even though Koko and Mounir ended up taking that one. We have some interesting numbers coming out of Koko. As before we were talking, even towards the end of the previous game, not the one we just watched, but before that, we were talking about how devastating Koko's axe was, and yet last game, 0. Literally 0 axe damage. It was mostly done on the lance. He also only did 317. The reason that they won that game is because Mounir turned the heck up. 591. You're hearing those Brent signatures coming out.
Yeah, you're hearing them, and guess what? Godly is feeling them. Already so deep into the guide. One more hit, and that's going to be able to do it, but Godly patrolling off stage, punishing that recovery. Wanted that compound, but got interrupted halfway through. And oh no, I felt like that was supposed to be Godly's stock. That was supposed to be Godly's edge guard, and then he got interrupted. I think that might have been Koko's weapon toss.
This red team, the way that they're answering back, now they're not, of course, completely shutting down, but they took what was like one of the win conditions of the blue team. It was mostly like Godly's survivability. When he didn't have that on the rare occasion, it was Neeze's survivability that was the linchpin. Now all of a sudden they've taken that away. Last game it was huge. This game they're continuing that as well. See if they can get Neeze here. Mounir though over on the edge. He has to be careful. He is in the orange. Able to get back. Oh, the neutral signature picked up high. Several months ago, before that insig got nerfed, that would have taken off the top. Absolutely, for sure. There's the sidelight side air from Mounir. Not enough. You see Neeze immediately coming in, trying to hit the unarmed kit with the recovery to maybe take Mounir off the top.
Okay, Koko, nice little dodge there. Trying to follow up there with the sidelight. Wasn't able to get it, unfortunately. And now Koko, okay, not going to get hit by that double sidelight. Neeze wanted that so badly. Wanted to get that recovery. Koko staying alive here. Oh, man.
Nice initial edge guard from Neeze. Oh, the side air was just a little bit too low. I thought with that big old jaw that he has on that mask, that would make contact with the vertical sidewall, but no.
Not big enough.
It was just that 45-degree angle, which does not reset your jumps.
Tragic and unfortunate, but that is going to be Godly's second stock gone as well. Everybody has one stock apiece, and Neeze getting chefed up a little bit. Still not enough to finish it off, and that's going to be the side air. And now, oh wait, he still has 2 stocks. My bad. I thought that was the last stock.
And Godly immediately went over onto the wall as Neeze was being knocked out so that the red team could not find a way back in this game. Now both of them are in the red. The lead definitely favoring Neeze and Godly. You're hearing all those axe hits. It's not just Koko.
But Koko's getting them stacked. Not able to fully find everything that he wanted out of that downer. Now Koko looking for an opening to get back onto the stage. Mounir is still somehow hanging onto that stock. But now both of them in such a nasty position. The neutral light comes out. Koko not KO'd quite yet. Neeze patrolling, threatening with the downer. You can't go for those.
That
Too
was
exploitable.
a very bold and risky move when, I mean, honestly, in that moment, like a side air probably would have been the much safer option. Still probably would have gotten punished, but man, the damage that Godly did that game, 651, and it's mostly on the axe, 455 compared to the 127 on the gauntlets. His axe is swinging. I believe he's probably going to be doing the most axe damage in the entire game. Absolutely. It is not even a contest.
So much of this last stock was Koko and Mounir being separated.
Yep.
And that is unpleasant. It is quite uncomfortable. Not only were they separated, they were also both simultaneously in disadvantage. So they were both like, wow, how do we get back, playing 1v1s against Godly and Neeze? That's a tough task for anybody to do. And already, look at this opening combo here. Everybody's getting kind of hit at the moment.
It was a beautiful spot dodge from Mounir because he picked up 2 people, 1 red, 1 blue with the D-Light. The spot dodge came out because Godly was coming in for the counter punish. Now, oh my goodness, Godly's taking a lot of damage here. You see him reaching up with the Nair. I don't know if he wants the axe here or the gauntlets. The D-Sig just barely gets interrupted by the sword weapon toss from Neeze. That stopped the initial force dump that happens at the very end of that move, and Mounir is actually the first one to fall despite having several members of this game in the D-Sig.
That's going to be Neeze, second to follow really nice and quickly, as well as Godly. Now, once again, it is going to be Koko that is stock tanking. Right, sitting in the orange, but getting beat up quite heavily here. Neeze going all the way up there. Wanted that neutral finisher, wasn't so lucky. Downer doesn't find the double downer. Neutral, all the way up. The recovery not able to chase him down in time. My goodness.
Oh, great spot dodge. Even with the D-Light, that was a bold move that at least moved him a little bit further towards that wall to cover some space, even though he had plenty of in-air movement economy.
Neeze is so aggressive.
Yeah,
Neeze,
that's
like with
Neeze classic.
sword on hand, just latches onto you and constantly in your face saying, hey, you think I'm going to reset? Nope. I'm going to keep on extending over and over. I'm going to look for 30 neutralizers. I'm going to look for that recovery. And the one time that it connects, will steal that stock away.
And that aggression from Neeze, like for a while in his career, like it was as much a pro for him as it was a con because he found himself like sometimes going Pavelski mode and ends up throwing his stock off stage. But of course here recently we've seen him really refine that play style and really get a lot more control on it so that he doesn't find himself throwing those stocks away, overcommitting.
Neeze being nice and patient, making it
Beautiful.
back onto the stage. Excellent space on that as well. Gonna be swatted away there.
He's crazy!
Neeze
is so good.
is amazing.
Neeze is an incredible player. And it seems like he's only getting better. That was a 4-stock. Like, not even a question. That was a 4-stock. Look at the damage that it took. 386 plus 483. I gotta do the math on that. 386 plus 483 is 869. That's all it took.
That's not that much.
That
in
is
the grand scheme
not a
things,
lot
is
of
it?
damage at all. And they were able to take away the 6 stocks of Koko and Mounir. It was robbery.